Okay, Sistas fans. So first off, quick disclaimer. Bad storms in the area yesterday. I don't know if you saw my tweet about that, but we had like two bad thunderstorms. The first one went from like close to 8 o'clock. Remember when I was uploading videos last night? I did like 3. It was the the Preston coming over unannounced, and Danny, Karen, and Zach, and then Danny playing games willing to lose Preston. The reason those videos came out at like midnight or whatever, they were literally uploading around like 7:30 when the storm hit and the power was out for over an hour, and a tree fell inches away from my car, and my ice cream melted that I bought that afternoon so I could eat it after the live stream. So basically, I wasn't able to live tweet or watch the episode live. I started the episode a little after 11 o'clock once the storm kind of stopped and the Wi-Fi came back on. But then when I was about 23 minutes in, basically, you know, when Aaron is on Karen's couch and they're talking, another storm rolled back in. Because I was like, you know what? I can finish this episode before like 11:45. And then I can actually do a live stream because at that time, you know, the West Coast, you know, will have watched the episode too. But no, another storm came through, Wi-Fi got knocked out, so I wasn't able to finish the episode until this morning. So if you're wondering why I wasn't on Twitter, why I wasn't on YouTube live to talk about the episode, that's why. Maybe I'll do a live stream tonight or tomorrow. I'll definitely do a live stream in the future, again, either tonight or tomorrow, so we can talk about the episode. Not going to lie though, after the fight, the episode was kind of dry. It wasn't horrible, but I mean, the fight was such a high bar that everything else just felt low energy after that. Obviously, the entire episode can't be as hyped up as the fight. And I know people are going to hate me for saying this because for the past few weeks, I've been like the unpopular opinion guy. The fight itself, while funny as hell, I think it made Zach look pathetic. I mean, given how things played out in the episode, Andy was speaking for me. The fact that, do you have any idea how much more worse you made this situation? Because eventually, spoiler warning, Fatima gets released. Zach could have done nothing, basically followed Andy's advice by not getting triggered, and Fatima would have been out. And then, you know, they could have handled the situation from there. But you literally assaulting Hayden at his job where there are witnesses in a freaking law firm, you just made this worse. And hey, Andy ain't off the hook. She did a couple things, had me going, Andy, I know you just didn't do that. Okay, so despite the fight being the hype, you know, moment of the episode, but the rest of the episode feeling a bit lackluster, I know this score is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Because truth be told, for me personally, the part of the Zach, you know, scene at the beginning, there are 2 moments I liked. It wasn't the fight. Like I said, the fight was pointless in the grand scheme of things. I think that when Zach was telling Hayden off about, oh yeah, look how scared you are, because the reason you won't leave us alone is because you're so pathetic, you're so miserable, you have nothing else to do but to try to get back at me and Fatima. To me, if Zach didn't throw a punch, look, I know I keep bringing this up, but it's like the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing. People like, you know, if Will yelled and shouted from the audience about keep my wife's name out your mouth, that would have been more, I guess you could say, better received than the slap. You know, because the slap was unnecessary. You made your point. In Zach's case, I feel the same way, because if you would have just told him off, I mean, better yet, just walk away. But if you would have just told him off, spitting facts, that would have been a lot less hectic than getting into a full-out brawl. Because I'm not saying Hayden didn't deserve it, but it's just funny to me that you're the one who was restrained by security guards and you're about to be taken away to jail, and you're the one laughing at how pathetic Hayden is. It's kind of like, I don't know, someone living in a box who's laughing at the dude in a limo because, you're a coward, you're pathetic. Yeah, but I'm not the one who's, you know, down on his luck right now. It's just one of those things where it just didn't make sense to me. But that's just me. Look, I'm a Zatima fan, but I just think it was incredibly dumb what Zach did. It was just stupid. But then again, the second part of this scene I really loved was the moment Karen came around the corner. What's going on? And Zach was like, oh, I'm done. I don't know why, but that part just had me laughing so hard. Now, when it came to the fight, when I knew Hayden was about to get fucked up, when Zach, you know, because he was wearing like a white, you know, undershirt, but he had like a button-up shirt, you know, on top. When he threw that off and then dragged Hayden back down the stairs that he was trying to flee, and this boy screamed, "Security, security!" I was laughing my ass off because my mom always has the TV cut on. I forgot what network it is, but it's the one that has like, I think it's Me TV. I think they have like a marathon of Andy Griffith and then Gomer Pyle's episodes. And I just think about that Andy episode where Gomer's like, citizens arrest, citizens arrest. That's exactly what it sounded like when Hayden was going, security, security. And somebody actually messaged me like, Jeremy, I think the part that made the fight scene so funny was the fact that Hayden assumed security would have got there a lot quicker than they did. Okay, all right. But the fight aside, and you know, Andy telling Zach that he really messed up, was when the cops actually showed up and Andy tried to say, because he's like, hey, that man assaulted me. He came in here. He just started yelling at me and then he rushed me and then he, you know, beat me up. He beat me up. And Andy spoke up like, well, sir, yeah, they actually assaulted each other. And Hayden was like, really? And we got cameras to prove it. And the fact that Andy was surprised that there are cameras, look, I don't know. That was dumb. I didn't like that. The fact that, okay, the parking lot was one thing. Yeah, there's no cameras in here, but then I asked them to have some installed. But you really think there are no cameras in a freaking law firm, like inside the building? Come on now, Andy. All right. So Karen is, you know, wondering what's going on. Zach is laughing. He gets dragged out of there. So, you know, Andy kind of blows up at Hayden to get out of there. Karen, I don't know why, but she feels entitled to say, I didn't come here for all this drama. I came here to talk, not for all this drama. Then what? What the hell? Look, this has nothing to do with you. Like, for real. Like, the last time you showed up to this place, you were the one trying to start a fight with Fatima. So you're the last person to try to judge someone on, you know, starting drama. So in any case, we go over to Andy's office, and this was another thing. I'm like, Andy, again, Karen feels entitled to know what's going on, and Andy decides to basically talk about, well, Zach attacked Hayden because Hayden got Fatima arrested because she allegedly assaulted him in response to Hayden allegedly getting Zach arrested. So she literally aired out all this laundry, and I'm like, damn, Andy, that was unnecessary. But in any case, Karen gets to the point of why she's actually there. She doesn't know who the father of this kid is, and she doesn't want it to be Aaron's, even though, you know, Andy, I do feel was, I mean, for the first time in a while, they were actually having a decent sisters moment. It's just the fact that she goes on to say, hey, we're here to support you, to help you through this, due to the fact that, you know, this was one of those episodes where it was showcasing us being a good support system. Truth be told, if you look, we're what, 3.5 seasons into the show. This sister circles, while it's a nice sentiment, not the best support system. It's just one of those things where, you know, what's the saying in the Bible? You know, remove the speck of dirt from your own eye before you try to help your brother or your friend get the speck out of their eye. They can all give great advice, but when it comes to their own personal lives, it's just like, it's still screwed up. But regardless of that, I did like the idea that Andy was literally trying to be there for Karen. And while I want to give Karen credit for this episode, both this scene and the one she has later on with Aaron, I just don't like the fact that there's a good chance we're going to see a lot of regression in her character. I mean, the fact that she says, like, I don't want to let Zach go, when Andy's like, well, it's like, you know, hey, if this baby is Aaron's, then this could be, you know, like a sign like it really is over. And Andy's like, look, as a friend, he has moved on, but you know, it is what it is. And Karen's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, if he's here fighting somebody over, you know, because of what they did to Fatima, then yeah, that's just another sign that it's over. So again, I want to applaud Karen for saying that, but it's just the fact that in episode 20, Karen chooses to tell Zach how she genuinely feels. We don't need that. But she just knows that she doesn't want it to be Aaron's kid. So from there, yeah, I did like this scene, aside from the fact that Andy decided to just tell everything for no reason. She could have just strictly said that this is a matter of business because of where it took place in the law firm. And as a result, I can't tell you that confidential information. It's just the fact that Karen just had that look on her face, like, just that sense of an entitlement is what I didn't like. So when she actually broke down in the office, I feel like that scene made it even better. Okay, so she did say that she needed to apologize to Aaron because of how mean she was. And I'm like, you think? I'm not saying that you were fully in the wrong, because he was a bit doing too much, but at the same time, okay. So Aaron actually gets a call from Karen to come over to her place. Hey, do you need me to bring you anything? No, I'm heading there now. Just bring yourself. And Andy actually calls Robin and leaves a voicemail. So over at the bank, Bio calls Sabrina while she's in her office. It's the fact that, when can I see you? And I'm like, wait, and because the flowers are actually delivered to the hospital, a lot of people were happy about it. And I mean, what was it? A week or two ago, it was like, okay, hey, if I send these flowers to a hospital, will I see you tonight? But then it's like, no, I actually got to meet with the girls. But how about this? After I meet with the girls, you come over to my place, and it's where I'm comfortable at. Okay, cool. Because he can't really, a woman who likes to be in control is like, a woman like yourself should not be driving. I'm a 30-year-old man. I hate driving. So if I had someone to drive me around, hey, I'll be cool with that. Like a personal Uber or a limo drive. I don't need no limo. Yeah. But in any case, it's just little hints like that, where it's like Sabrina, when she finds out about Bio at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, it makes sense. Horse and carriage, huh? But in any case, she's like, how about this? I'll call you later, and give you my address when you can come on by. So it looks like they're going to be meeting up at her place. Now we go over to Preston, who calls Danny while he's literally on the other side of the door. And he has a bad lie about, wait, I said I was coming over in the morning. Yeah, you literally said 11 o'clock because you wanted to make sure I was gone from work. And guess what? You called me today while I was at work. So what's going on with that? So again, Danny can see right through his lie and the fact that, it's Zach's advice. Wait, what are you talking about? Yeah, we talk and we hang out from time to time, but that's it. So, just like what Zach was doing last week, he's denying any sort of relationship advice or whatever. But in any case, he looks in the box and that's not his shirt. He's like, wow, so you have that many guys coming through here? Yeah, maybe I do, maybe I don't. So he gets his box like, well, is there anything you wanted to say aside from that? If not, you can go. So before Preston stops and says what he was about to say, Sabrina comes in because she was actually coming over to get Danny so they can go over to Andy's house. Oh, hey, Preston. Oh, don't worry about it, Sabrina. He was just leaving. So Preston takes his box and he leaves. And after he leaves, it's pretty much nothing else to say. He's like, hey, he has his box. He's gone. But how about this? We go over to Andy's. Danny been smoking, so she don't want to drive. So they'll take the long way, and they decided to go to the grocery store prior to Andy's because they both need some stuff. Bring your wallet, but Danny rushes out of the house before she does. That's my nephew. Hey, man, you want to, we go to Dollar General, you bring your wallet. He's in the car before anybody else. I'm like, man, come on. So, we get to the Q scene, and I'm not going to harp on it. Let me just quickly break it down. Q loved the dinner. Calvin loved Q's cooking. Maurice doesn't want to say anything nice because, well, hell, why should he? Calvin all of a sudden is like, don't pay attention to Mr. Grumpy Pants. After hearing Q's story, I'm okay with letting him stay. Don't worry, Maurice will come around. And after saying that, Calvin just leaves. Technically speaking, it is half his apartment because he and Maurice both pay on the rent. But no. And I'm not going to harp on this because you've heard I'm just as tired of this as everybody else. I've done enough videos on this subject, but okay. Maurice apparently wants a hot meal every day when he comes home from work. Q to do the dishes and not say a word to him, because just know that I don't want you here. I have nothing to say about this. This is just from armed bank robber to personal chef and dishwasher. I'm not saying shit else. I'm moving on to the next scene. We go over to Aaron and Karen, who comes over with ice cream. Didn't I tell y'all in that other video? Aaron was always talking about some damn ice cream. So it's funny because I know it's a TV show, but it's funny when you notice certain things, like when Aaron put the carton on Karen's coffee table. First off, I'm like, I know Karen said sit down, don't worry about no bowls, and let me at least put the ice cream in the freezer. Well, then again, I don't know exactly when in time or like what season it is when this show is taking place. But I just think about it's summer here now, like 80, 90 degrees. The ice cream would have been in the freezer first thing. But, you know, Aaron is asked to sit down. And when he sit the carton on the table, you can hear it clunk, knowing that there's nothing in that ice cream carton. That was funny. But in any case, the talk with Andy went well. And, you know, I just love, like, okay, Aaron is actually being attentive. But even more importantly, Karen is talking to him, not at him. So, hey, glad I got my girls as my support system. And okay, so how did the talk go? What conclusions do you have? I'm not over Zach. Yeah, I know, I figured that. I know you'll be an amazing father, but I'm not ready to I'm not ready, or I don't know you well enough to have your baby. But if that's the case, why even have unprotected sex with someone? And I mean, it just seems like a lot. Sure, you know Zach better than Aaron, but based on his recent actions and the fact that he's moved on, he's continuously getting in and out of jail, it's just, I'm dumbfounded that she would rather have a baby with him than a man who, even though we don't know that much about him, seems to be more clean cut. Now, I will give Karen credit for bringing up, you know, with everything, you know, that went down with your ex-wife and all. It's just, I don't know if it's, you know, I feel right bringing a baby, you know, from all that. While true, and, you know, they had a rocky foundation from where they started, it just feels a bit, I don't know. While I did like this scene, it just felt weird to me, because I'm glad Aaron's like, you know, hey, I love you. You don't know me well enough to love me. I know you love me too, because I see it in your eyes. And I'm like, he's not wrong. It's just the fact that from up until the point where him or Zach and Karen did it in the salon, she was all in with Karen. I mean, all in with Aaron. Not drinking as much, not cussing, being celibate. But the moment she got a taste of that Zach again, and then the fact that he moved on, that's when she started backtracking on Aaron. But up until that point, it was all Aaron all the time. So for her to have all these reservations, and look, she's the one carrying the baby, so she can feel how she wants to. But I'm really thinking, but what are you going to do if it is your if it is his child? Like, you know, what's the test? Amniothesis. Look, I did a video on it. I forgot what the damn word was, but it's a test where they can go inside and get the DNA from the fetus or something to determine the DNA test that way. So, like, if Karen finds out that Aaron is the father prior to the birth, will she abort the baby? That's what it sounds like, because if you have the kid and it is Aaron's, then what? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Karen? Give it up for adoption? Give it to Aaron? I don't know. It's just like the thought process, the order of operations is not in, you know, order right now, because the fact that you had unprotected sex with the possibility of a pregnancy, and now it's like, I don't want it to be your baby. That's a horrible thing to hear. Like, oh, I'm pregnant, but I don't want to have your children. That gotta hurt. So in any case, she wants some ice cream and some pickles, so he runs out to get pickles, and that was it. So that's all I gotta say on that. All right, so then we go over to Andy and Robin. Essentially, it's one of those favor for a favor situations. Hey, she gives him the rundown of what's been happening between Hayden, Zach, and Fatima. He loves the fact that Hayden's been getting his ass handed to him. And, since Zach has a record and possibly on probation, it can be harder, but he can make a couple phone calls and get Fatima out of jail and make sure she keeps the job. And I love the fact, okay, you better go pick her up. Wait, what? It's like that? All I got to do is make a couple of phone calls. So I did like that. That was pretty smooth. With the Zach thing, he'll see what he can do. And he's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go talk to Hayden. He still thinks I'm one of the boys. I'm just going to have a little fun with him. And in exchange, Andy's going to do a few favors of her own, if you know what I mean. I don't mean to just skip through this scene, but that's really the point of it. It was really cool to see Robin back again. Okay, so Hayden's in his office. He calls Gary about the fact that Robin's back. Hey, he's still in Andy's office. Looks like they're having fun. And, just giving Gary the 411 on what's been going on with Robin since he came back. He's glad to have the intel. And he is suspecting that, wait, if he works in London, like, what does he keep popping up again for, here and there? And remember, Robin just said he thinks he's one of the boys. So Hayden's like, he might be using some of the client settlement money, but I'll have to find out if this is fact. So I'll see if I can bring a few receipts on this guy. And in exchange, he's trying to find out, so what's going on your end? Look, Jake, my right-hand man, he told me what's up. The FCC probably won't find anything on Zach because he knows his stuff. He just got lucky. That's how it happens sometimes. So it's like, damn, you got a really hard on for this guy. Like, I just hate his ass. I love the fact that Hayden didn't mention what Zach just did at the job. But regardless, he already knows Robin might be talking with Andy to try to help Fatima and Zach out of their current situations. But Gary, he doesn't want to hear the fact that, Zach is clean, but Gary's like, look, the best thing I can do is just call my contact at the FCC to look into it, and that's the end of that. So, over at the jail, Fatima's freed. I know Fatima fans everywhere were losing their shit at this, and I still think she deserves to be locked up. But, Robin made a couple phone calls, and that was that. But she has to deliver the bad news that, well, Zach came to the job, and just like you said, he lost his shit and attacked Hayden. And no, I didn't tell Zach anything. Hayden did it. So from there, he's like, well, I gotta go back to the job to get my cell phone because that's where all my contacts are. Hey, girl, don't worry. Robin's on trying to get, Zach out of jail right now. And Fatima's like, hey, is it too much trouble to see if I can talk to Zach right now? So, Andy goes to the back to try to, make something happen. And that's really the end of that scene. So from there, we go over to the grocery store. Danny and Sabrina are shopping. I don't know. I like this scene. It was just a nice change of pace, and I don't think we've seen, the sisters in the grocery store since, correct me if I'm wrong, but towards the end of season 2, where the girls found out that, Zach and Fatima were an item. So from there, they're being followed around by a couple of women, and Danny notices this, and it turns out that they want pictures of Sabrina because she was on the cover of their home country's magazine, Embido, I probably said that wrong, but that's the name of the country. And they're shocked that, wait, has this country's prince found his future wife? So yeah, that's the end of the episode. I know this review was a bit shorter than usual, but like I said, after the fight at the start of the episode, things just kind of happen. Really nothing to talk about here. So a 4 out of 10 might seem harsh, but this wasn't a bad episode that I don't see myself rewatching certain scenes from. I know the fight has people thinking, yo, this is like a 15 out of 10, but needless violence to me isn't that, intriguing as compelling story. Like for me personally, my favorite part was just Zach telling Hayden off, but it's just the fact that he looks so pathetic. It's like, you could say what you want about Hayden, but which one of you two is being restrained by security guards before being escorted to jail? And as Zach said, I done been to jail before. I don't care. But I don't know, Zach, you got too much money. You got too much to lose to be making these street decisions. So I know that's an unpopular opinion. I'm probably going to get some pushback on my thoughts on the episode. But hey, it is what it is. Just my opinion. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button to show you liked the video. Hit subscribe, hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next one.